this time, I'd like to call to order the regular monthly meeting of the South Union Township Board of Supervisors. Please stand for an opening prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On the roll call, Mr. Schiffbauer,
Here.
Mr. Vernon,
Here.
Mr. Scott here. Number 5, the Roadmasters report. Mr. Vernon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Roadmaster report for the month of January. We hauled compost 5 days. Snow removal 7 days in the month of January. We picked up loose curb that we knocked out while we were plowing, and we're going to replace that in the spring, keeping track of the curves. We had to repair a couple street signs and stop signs that we knocked over. We tried to keep the Sheepskin Trail clear also from snow removal. We picked up litter on Township Drive, Cinder Road, Brownfield Lane, Duck Hollow Road, and Daniel Drive and Matthew Drive. We cleaned and waxed plow trucks in between. Worked down at our new building down on Pennsylvania Avenue, the old Clush building we bought back in July. We've been working on that, getting it cleaned up and cleared out. And we put an inlet in behind the District Judge Court office over by the South Union Township Fire Hall. That concludes my report. Is there anything else you want to add?
If there's nothing else, we'll move on. Thank you, Mr. Vernon.
Thank you, sir.
Number 6 is the Sewage Department report. I'll handle that. During the month of January, all the pump stations were running. We had one overflow during the month of January. Monday, February 11th, we'll be mailing out the yearly discount bills. Everyone who has their account up current, your bill will be $232. That includes the $1 recycling fee, plus gives you a $1 or $20 discount. That's 1 month free sewage if you pay yearly. If you need to discuss anything about your account, you can please call at 724-438-8333. We also new this year have the website is up and running. You can pay your sewage bill online. If you go to southuntwp.com, there's a link you can follow to pay your sewage bill, and the yearly amounts will be on there. Feel free to use that. South Union discussed this month with the sewage and the city undertaking a sewer line on Country Club Boulevard. I'm sure Mr. Overall at the end, he'll explain to you what's going on down there. We're replacing a portion of the line. It is in the South Union Township, but it mostly carries the city sewage line, but he'll explain more when he gets to him. The waste load management report and the Act 14 were submitted to Senate Engineering for the grader. We have to do a yearly report, so we submitted both of those. And I think that's all I have. If you guys have anything else?
Yeah, there's all that. Very well.
Number 7, the Code Enforcement Officers report. Mr. Vernon.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. For the month of January, Code Officers report again, we have one full-time during the day 7 to 3:30 and one part-time 3 days a week from 7 to 3:30. And we have 3 working in the evenings and also on weekends. So we're covered pretty good on the code enforcement. Letters sent out by code officers for property maintenance was 2. We had 2 junk vehicles. We have to give them a warning. They did move them. We had 7 dog complaints. That was 1 barking and 6 dogs out in the cold. They all complied and put the dogs in the house on that new dog law. Burning complaints, we had 1. Again, you can only burn on Saturdays from 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. There must be a controlled blaze, which means you have to set someone there watching it. We had delinquent garbage accounts. We had 10. 4 letters sent out and 6 citations issued. Again, we have a mandatory garbage collection, and we require, if you do not pay your garbage bill, they still pick it up. But we're required under our contract to give you a warning first. If not, then we have to issue a citation for a fine, also for the restitution to the garbage contractor. We had 1 parking complaint. We had total 43 citations issued by our township code enforcement officers. Tickets given out by our officers. Handicap, we had 56 handicap. And then the fire lane, we had 18 for a total of 74. Total miles traveled throughout the township was 8,863 miles by our township officers. Our daytime officers traveled 3,649 miles, and our evening and weekend officers traveled 5,214 miles per in the evenings and on weekends. That should conclude my report. If you have anything else I'd like to add.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon. Comments? No, let's skip one.
Motion.
Motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of last month's meeting.
We have a
I'll
motion.
second Mr. Schiffbauer's motion.
Proper second on the roll call. Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes, motion carries. Number 9, comments on agenda items. Does anyone have any comments on the agenda items? Comments? Number 10, we had a meeting on January 24th with Senator Stefano and Representative Dowling down at the, as Mr. Vernon mentioned, we bought the Cluss Warehouse building last July with intention of turning it into an indoor turf facility to be used for soccer, flag football, many other things that we have planned for it. But the reason for the meeting, we have 2 large grants coming up in 2019 that we're going to apply for. One is through DCNR. It's the same grant that Mr. Schiffbauer applied for a couple years ago, and we received for the Sheepskin Trail. We were able to complete the Sheepskin Trail. It's in the same lines of the grant. So it's a 50-50 grant, but what's nice about the grant is they let you use in-kind. So we're fortunate enough to have a crew that we're able to use to do some of the work. We've already been down there cleaning the building out, just taking some stuff out that's not needed, and our guys are able to do that. So it's fortunate for us to be able to use our guys, which we can use for in-kind trade instead of using cash. So that's exactly what we did on the trail. It was brought to my attention by Mr. Schiffbauer when we did the trail. I didn't know you were able to do that. And it really cuts the cost down because this grant would be a 50-50 match, as I mentioned. So we're looking to apply for $250,000. So instead of us having to come up with $250,000 in cash, we'll be able to do in-kind favors to cut the cost down. The second grant that we're applying for is through DCED. That grant, Mr. Dowlings, hopefully will be able to help us out on it. And we're going to ask for $150,000 for it. And it's an 85-15 grant, which is better. You only have to come up with 15% of the money. But it's a more competitive grant. So we're hoping the senator and the representative both, if you saw the article in the paper, they were both happy we called them down for the meeting. Matt has small kids now, and Pat said he's been through it with his daughter, played softball, so he knows the need for an indoor sports facility. The closest one we have to us would probably be Milan and Morgantown, and you're still talking a 25 to 30 minute drive down there and back. And I know a lot of people that I know are still traveling back and forth to either Pittsburgh or Morgantown. And the nice thing about it, not only are they going to these facilities, but they're also staying there for the day. That's the biggest thing about this. Is if you're traveling down to Morgantown for a tournament or something, you're not only traveling down there to get your kid lessons or playing a tournament, you're also staying there all day. You're shopping, you're spending money in the restaurants, and it's going to impact the community. I feel it'll be a big impact, but hopefully we're able to successful for the grants. I mean, if we do get the grants, our plans are to add on to one side of the building, put a concession area, a new entrance, restrooms, and some seating. We have a couple conceptual drawings right now that we've had drawn up. Just we're in the preliminary stages. We don't want to spend too much money on engineering until we get, make sure we have the funding for it. So we're just trying to throw things out. But we also, to make the grants more appealing, we're going to do a survey, and the survey will be on our website and on our Facebook page. And we encourage everyone to please partake in the survey. If you're not able to do it online, please call the office. We will have paper surveys if you're not, you don't have a computer or a smartphone available. But if you do, it's going to be a simple survey. We're trying to make it 5 minutes or less that it'll take you to complete. But it's really going to help us with the grants. we need your feedback. We need to see, you know, what you think, if you're gonna use the building. We definitely don't wanna do anything that's not gonna be used, but I feel pretty strong that there's a lot of need out for it. The day we had the meeting with the senator and representative, it was snowing, snow was blowing sideways, and we're all sitting inside the building. And, you know, Senator Stefano said, look outside. It explains to you that we definitely need something for these kids to do during these months. So our rec center now, like I've said in the past, we changed the basketball court into turf, and our numbers have tripled in the past 3 years as far as indoor soccer. So it's definitely, I think the need's there. We just have to, I guess, more or less prove to everybody that the need's there so we can get the funding here. But I'm sure Mr. Schiffmeyer would like to add to what I said.
Yeah, in regards to the survey, it's also going to include some other questions that relates to different phases or other parts of our recreation program. Probably a question or two about trails, then some more general type questions that you would see on those surveys. But as Jason mentioned, it certainly would help in furthering our application by acquiring this information from the survey that helps certainly justify. We know that we need a facility like this, but we have to convince the people that we are applying for the grant money that the need does exist, and using the results of the survey would certainly confirm that need and help gain approval on our application. As far as the in-kind service we use to match the $260,000 for the trail, we haven't had the total tabulation figures looking at it that close, but we probably saved from spending actual township dollars somewhere in the vicinity of probably $140,000, $150,000, $60,000. That's how much work we were able to do using our township crew, and of which they did a great job. We receive compliments all the time about the trail, and it has to do with the quality of work and the nature of their performance. Now, as far as the indoor facility goes, I think it does look like we're probably going to take an approach that in remodeling or building the facility, we'll probably be looking at accomplishing the total end package of the building, what we foresee we like to do as far as the end project, do that in phases. And it's going to cost a few dollars, but the way the phases, it allows the township to work within the limitations of our budget. We certainly don't have the money to throw around at a Fox Chapel or Peters Township, but we can still come up with an outstanding facility by taking this approach and doing it in phases. And that way we'll be able to incorporate more things into that facility, not just a turf surface that we're playing soccer and practicing baseball at. There are many things that we can do with the facility. We've taken a close look at other areas that have built facilities like this, and it's amazing if you do the proper planning what you can end up with in a facility like this. So that's what we're looking for, something to grow into that will have the room to grow into not only just the floor surface, but it will allow us to add on other programs, and it will just be an even more multi-use facility. But I think we're headed in the right track, and hopefully with the assistance of our legislators, we'll be able to gain approval on the grant applications, and hopefully sometime by the latter part of this year, we'll actually start the work using that grant money if we're successful in getting it.
Thank you. Anything, Mr. Brown?
You two covered it very well. I'd just like to, again, thank our senator and our representative for meeting with us and going to try to help us out with
Yeah, they
the
seem
grants.
very eager to help.
Yeah, and one other thing I'd just like to add, I think we've gained here a reputation in South Union Township as far as our recreation program. I remember when I started here, there was nothing. The township did not have, I think we had one baseball field, the township had. And we've grown over the years, and I think over the last couple of years with the addition of some new blood in as far as the supervisor, Mr. Vernon and Mr. Scott, that we have the energy and the desire to invest our time and efforts into making our program even nicer. And I think there's no limitation into what we should try to do to provide the facilities for our residents that I think they deserve.
Thank you. Number 11, we have a township newsletter coming out. I just wanted to announce it, tell you to keep your eyes open. It's probably going to be mailed out around February 15th. It's just some informative, most of the stuff's on the website, but I realize there's a lot of people out there that don't get on the website, so I like to do a mailer. I think last year we missed it, but every other year since I've been here, we've done a mailer. Just some key things going on in the township. There's a couple of reminders on there about the homestead, applying for the Homestead Act if you haven't already. That's a tax savings. It's due March 1st. But just keep your eyes out. Like I said, it's going to mail out February 15th. You guys have anything on that, or just we'll touch base on it next month in a review. Nothing else. Number 12, motion to ratify the appointment of Andrew French and Philip Michael to the Rotary Walk Municipal Authority effective 1/1/19 for a 5-year term.
I handle that, yes.
Yes, sir.
Before I make a motion, I'd like to mention, the Rotary Walk was developed before Mr. Scott and Mr. Vernon was here. Mr. Shipwright was involved in it. Between the city of Uniontown and South Union Township, it's a 5-member board, and we were down to 1 member in South Union, and Uniontown was down. Uniontown just ratified 2 members, Erica Miller, she's club president, executive director of the State Theater of the Arts, and Mark Grateful, current board member and the city of Uniontown resident. They've asked us to put a couple extra members on. Dr. Hare does not want to go back on. He's been active month to month. So on that motion, I'd like to add one more person to that motion. Andrew French and Philip Michael are both the South Union residents, and they also requested Jacqueline Core. She's the current member and CEO of the Uniontown YMCA located in South Union Township. She's asked to be put on also, so I'd like to add that name to it also. Make a motion then to hire, we need to appoint, ratify Andrew French, Philip Michael, and Jacqueline Core to the Rotary Walk Municipal Authority effective 1/1/19 for a 5-year term for the Township of South Union Township representation.
Does anyone have any questions on that, since Jacqueline wasn't on the agenda for the public? I was instructed by
They
the
called me
solicitor
after
to
this was just put on this afternoon.
We have your motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Vernon's motion.
We have a motion and a second. On a roll call, Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries.
I would like to add one thing about the Rotary Walkway. I know periodically I used to run by more or less, use a bicycle now, but it has fallen into some disrepair, and one of the reasons for that is the old authority, older members, they actually participate less and less in keeping up with the needs of the walkway. But I think we have a good opportunity if the city starts to move forward on their portion of the Sheepskin Trail. And under the proposed route that runs through the city, it comes very close to the eastern end of the Rotary Walkway on Connersville Street. I don't think it'd take much to tie in the walkway into the Sheepskin Trail. The walkway would add, I think, approximately another mile to the course, and running or going from the far end of the walkway tying into Sheepskin Trail through South Union to Hutchinson. I think that brings us close to a 5-mile trail just in itself. I think if that happens, I'm sure the township would play even a stronger role and a more active role in upgrading the trail to blend it in to what we have here with the with the sheepskin trail. It's a crushed stone surface walkway right now, but I think as time goes on in the future, we can do things to really upgrade and make that walkway a nicer place to use.
Thank you, sir. Number 13, place Thomas P. Hare as an advisor to the Rotary Walk. Also, this is Mr. Vernon's.
Okay, yes. Mr. Harris been on there, I think, from the start, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
He's asked, not to go back on, but he wants to be an advisor. And the board did request him to be appointed by us as a senior advisor to the board. And so I could make a motion to make him an advisor to the Rotary Board Walk Way.
Is that your motion?
Yes,
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Vernon's motion.
On the roll call, Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott? Yes. Motion
I should
carries.
also say, excuse me, it's Dr. Thomas there. He's a dentist also. I didn't put
Rick
doctor.
always likes to keep it real.
Yeah,
Keep
I'm
it
sorry.
clear.
I want to make sure Dr. Hare doesn't get mad at me.
Keep it clear. All right.
I apologize, Mr. Hare.
We'll
Dr. Hare.
let the record show.
All right.
Number 14, comments from the public. Do we have any comments from the public? Nobody wants to speak today? I do have one comment from myself here. I just want to, the man behind the camera, Mr. Jerry Dupay, was recognized this past weekend at the Laurel Highlands basketball game. And, I wasn't here from the start, obviously, because it was 29 years ago. But over the past 29 years, Jerry's been behind the camera for probably more since this was reported, Jerry. But as of Saturday, it was 4,047 games that Jerry's recorded with the South. I know Bob was, part of the start of it, and I commend both of them on it. It's something. I mean, no matter the time that Jerry commits to the South Union Township Sports Network is unbelievable. I mean, I tell Bob all the time. I say when Jerry decides to hang it up, I don't know who we're going to get that's going to put this much time.
Yeah.
And I'm involved in every sporting in the township, and Jerry's there. Doesn't matter if it's a baseball game at Hart, if it's a baseball game at Laurel Highlands, of soccer over here. Rain, snow, whatever. Jerry's been through it all. We've had him out at the ball field thinking that the top's going to blow off the ball field, and he's still in there video. And I'm trying to hang it up, Jerry. But that's something to be said. I mean, 29 years, over 4,000 games. I commend you on it, and I know all these guys do.
Thanks, Jerry.
And we get more comments on the games being videoed. Grandmas who live in Oklahoma who can now watch your little grandkid play soccer over here, and we get a lot of comments. I know you don't get any screen time because you're always behind the camera, but I'd like to just commend you on your efforts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it should be further noted that his partner, who we dearly miss, John Kazaric, when we come up with the idea of doing these games and record them, it became quite apparent. We knew it was a good idea, but once we started to develop it, there was a lot more to it than you think. First of all, we had to find an announcer who would do a good job. And believe me, I know of many other cases where the paid channels or local channels have not done a stellar job in the quality of announcers that you have. And I think in all the years that John and Jerry has been here, we have one complaint about the announcing as something very minor, and I don't even think the major news stations or ESPN could even boast of a stellar record like that. But Jerry's done a great job, and once we got the program, the recording our network off the ground, it was brought to our attention, the board of supervisors, people requesting to cover some of the high school events, and it was through the wishes and the approval of the board of supervisors that we allowed Jerry and John to become involved in recording the events on the high school level, and they've certainly done a great job.
Yes, they have. If there's no other comments, I'll move on. Number 15, the financial statement. Mr. Treasurer.
And Mr. Chair, for the following report, for the financial report, the township General fund checking account, $344,517.44. General fund investment account, $114,310.28. Our state fund, $153,606.21. Our hydrant fund, $4,813.95. Our athletic fund, $29,874.38. Our payroll fund, $47,978.87. Our sheep skin trail fund, $1,949.81. The North Union South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund, $18,046.54. Our recycle fund, $77,473.75. And the Tails on the Trail Fund, $1,625.85. For the total road department is $794,197.08. Then going over to our sewage fund account, we have a total of $2,273,628.37 for a grand total of $3,067,825.45. That'd be my financial report for the township.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. If there's no corrections, move on. Number 16, a motion to pay all current bills. Mr. Secretary.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to pay the following current outstanding bills. From the North Union South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund, $11,204. From the State Fund, $19,511.43. The Hydrant Fund, $4,697.42. The Recycling Fund, $2,636. Athletic Fund, $7,523.38. And from the General Fund, $319,246.85.
But the sewage fund, up on top, my second fund, I read that last fund.
Oh, yeah. In the sewage fund, $186,077.47.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Schifffire's motion.
On the roll call, Mr. Schiffbauer,
Yes.
Mr. Vernon.
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 17, Mr. Engineer. Do you have anything to report?
Yeah, first off, like Chairman Scott mentioned, we have an ongoing project on Country Club Boulevard to replace an old terracotta line, sanitary sewer line. It's actually a combination stormwater sanitary sewer line, so it's a separation project and an upgrade to the existing facilities. So there's going to be some new inlets installed on Country Club Boulevard and a brand new sewer line down the middle of Country Club Boulevard. In addition, with the cooperation of the supervisors, the existing bridge towards the Barton Mill Road is going to be replaced with twin 48-inch pipes in conjunction with that. And then, as everybody on that road realizes, the water company just replaced the line down Country Club Boulevard. So once all this underground utility work is done, the road will be resurfaced and should be a good, stable road for the near future. I also want to just reiterate the importance, as Mr. Scott and Mr. Schiffbauer mentioned, on this questionnaire for the public. Public participation is probably the number one factor that is considered by DCNR and DCED. So get the word out to your neighbor, anybody listening to this video, participating, and that's what the lawmakers in Harrisburg look at when it comes to divvying out this money is, does the public really want this to happen? And answering those questionnaires and participating with those questionnaires is going to show the legislators in Harrisburg that you do want this money, you're committed to this facility, and that it's an important project in this community. So I can't say enough about that. And the one thing about public participation is that if both grants are received, one can play against the other. So if the DCED grant DCNR grant is received and the DCED grant is received, That $150,000 plays directly to the $250,000, which takes the local money and spreads it out even more, makes it go further. So please participate in that public questionnaire.
Thank you, Mr. Over. You have anything for us, Mr. Davis?
I really don't have anything to report. I would like to extend my congratulations and appreciation to the man behind the camera, though, Jerry. I've been a big fan for a long time, and we appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
And thank you, gentlemen.
Yes,
Any
sir.
questions?
No, I have one thing that I'd like to bring up, and I meant to put on the agenda today, and I forgot to. It's been a very controversial issue over the years. Huggins Trader Court. Huggins Trader Court was recently sold to an entity from, I think in Morgantown, the Summer family. Huggins Trader Court has been an eyesore in our township for a number of years, simply because of the lack of maintenance by the prior owner, and the township has issued numerous citations for violations, both with the residents, the people residing in Huggins Trader Court, and citations filed against the owner. It's been a long road. It's a shame it's taken this long, but I think that with the sale, it's now in the hands of people who are seriously going to take the court serious. They're going to maintain it the way a trader court should. From what I understand, they own other activities like this in different places, so they're certainly not new to the game. And we are meeting with the owners, with the board of supervisors, and our solicitor this coming Friday at 10 o'clock to go over and sit down and make sure they understand what we expect of them and make them aware of our ordinances and the way that trader court should be maintained and taken care of. And it's not going to be allowed to happen again. I can assure you that.
Thank you, Mr. Schiffmeyer. If the gentleman done anything else, I'll entertain a motion I'll make the motion to adjourn at 4:31. We have a second.
I'll second. Okay, Mr. Shipper.
No, you go right ahead, Mr. Brennan.
I'll second Mr.
I'm
Schiff's
sorry.
motion.
On the roll call, Mr. Scott, yes. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffmeyer?
Yes.
Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.
You're the
Thank you.
secret part. You have it right, I said.